they were trying to charge me with a Vliska charge, which is trafficking narcotics. It's
Right.
like one of the more serious charges you can get for being a drug dealer, and it was I was facing 5 to 15, and for how much weed I had on me because I had over a pound.
Yeah.
And yeah, they took my car.
Damn.
They took all my money. Like, because they have this law called cease and forfeiture laws.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't prove your income, if you can't prove how you provided things, then they just take everything.
Right.
Because they assume that you got it from illegal methods.
Dealing drugs or
And
whatever.
the car was used in the delivery, so it's automatically confiscated as evidence. So I had to give them my car. They took it. I didn't give it to them. They just took it.
I'm having a day filled with drugs. What's up, you geniuses? It's the Jubal Show podcast. Thank you, as always, for checking it out. The Jubal Show comes out every single Wednesday on iTunes and on YouTube. Make sure to rate, review, comment, and subscribe. Click the like button. Click the notification button. Click all the appropriate buttons to show some love to the podcast. I appreciate it. The Fresh Till Death podcast, where I get high with my hot-ass wife, Alex Fresh, and we do stuff that comes out every single Tuesday, only on YouTube. That's a YouTube exclusive. And then the Fresh Till Death podcast, which I do again with my hot-ass wife, Alex Fresh. That comes out on Mondays. iTunes, YouTube, rate, review, comment, subscribe. Click all the appropriate buttons. Why is it a day full of drugs for me? Well, I just came from an elementary school where I was selling drugs. That's a lie. I wasn't selling drugs there. Okay? And I'm not just saying that so that I don't get arrested. No, I just came from Valentine's Day at my stepson Jax's elementary school, where I go sometimes because Alex volunteers for his class all the time, and like sometimes we'll go and have lunch with them. Sometimes, like whenever they're having a holiday party or some event, she'll help out. And if I'm not doing anything, I like to go as well because I like to show support. So he had his Valentine's Day party today at his elementary school and went to help out with that. And holy shit, what a boring party. What a boring party. They just did some crafts. They decorated some cookies. What else did they do? I don't know. But they look. I don't know how elementary school teachers do it. I'm pretty sure every single elementary school teacher has to have some sort of raging drug or alcohol problem when they leave work, because I don't know how you put up with 30 of these raving lunatics every single day. But they do it, and I'm glad they do it. But I was sitting there at this party, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, because at the end of the party before they had to go to lunch, I was helping in the crafts section. I'm like helping kids put yarn through a little heart that they're making, threading a needle, putting yarn through a heart. It's interesting though when you go do this stuff and you watch elementary kids try to do things like this, because there are some kids who just get it and they're like, oh, I know how to do it, and there's some kids who are like, holy shit, that is wrong. Like how did you even get out of bed this morning and make it to school? Because you couldn't figure that out? Okay. I got off track. But I was sitting there and they're like, okay, we got to go to lunch. And the teacher was like, wasn't that a great Valentine's Day party? And all the kids were like, yeah. And I was like, no, that was fucking lame. There was no drugs at this party at all. And then I thought about it and I was like, wait a second. I'm at an elementary school in America right now. There's got to be more Adderall in this place than at a frat house right now. So yeah, there's a lot of drugs at that holiday party I was just at. And that leads me to my guest who's here today. Tyler Smith is stopping by the show. If you don't know who he is, he's a comedian. He puts on, it's his thing that he does. It's called The Dope Show, where it's a show that tours around and comedians go on stage sober, and then they get off stage and then they smoke a bunch of weed and then they go back on stage high, and you see how they do. It's a really fun show. I do it whenever I get the opportunity. I really enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun. He's just a great dude, but obviously a big weed advocate. And we talk a lot about weed, and some of the legalities with that. He tells me an interesting story about when he got arrested in a sting operation. It's an interesting conversation. He's a great guy. Make sure you support him. His website is he told me it at the end of the podcast. And now I can't remember because I do the intro separately sometimes. What the fuck was his? Now I gotta pull up his website, even though he literally just told me. But no, it's a really cool conversation. He's a great dude. Check him out. I know that his social media handles are at HighBS. You can also find him at thedopeshow.com. And oh my God. What was that? I'm going to text him right now, actually. Screw it. I'm going to text him and say, what was your website again? This is how prepared I am for the podcast a lot of times. What was your website again? So we'll wait and see what he says about that. Anyway, I've known him for a while. So let's see if he texts me back here quickly. Here, I see the 3 dots. He's typing. He's typing back. Guess it's going to fucking bug me. And literally, he just left. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm just going to do the intro to the podcast because I wanted to talk about these little crackheads and their Valentine's Day party. Cracks mean these little meth heads. I think Adderall's kind of meth. Oh, here we go. His website is whosmokesweed.me. whosmokesweed.me. Go check that out. See one of his shows sometime. Enjoy today's podcast because it is a really fun and interesting conversation. Even if you're not into the drugs, I think you will still find it interesting. Rate, review, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and enjoy my conversation with Tyler Smith. You're going all over the place with the Dope Show now.
Yeah. Oh, we're starting. Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, I'm going all over. April 11th, I'm going to be in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And we're going to try and schedule a few more shows around that. Yeah. But that's the second furthest that the show's been. I thought it was the furthest, but apparently Phoenix, Arizona is just a little bit further.
Phoenix is further than Winnipeg?
By 10 miles.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know geography very well at all.
Yeah, they're 1,400 miles. One would be southeast, and the other one is northeast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured one was north, but I wasn't exactly sure which one. Like, is that Arizona? I think fucking Canada's up there. I think
it's up there.
I haven't been to Canada in a long time. Since they made weed like completely legal in Canada. That's fucking awesome.
It's crazy. I really love going up there now because now that it's legal everywhere, it's just kind of like I can go anywhere with my show, or I'm kind of limited here in America. Because if anybody who doesn't know, the Dope Show is a comedy show where comedians perform, and then they get really stoned, and then they attempt to perform some more. And it's a fun show, but it's limited to states where marijuana is legalized. Yeah. We got into Arizona one time.
I was just about to ask you that. Like, how?
It was a medical show.
Oh, really?
So everybody had to have their medical card.
Oh, shit.
And that was like an extra $160.
Wow.
To each person just to get their card.
Doing the show in Arizona, and did everybody in the audience also have to have a medical card?
No, just the performers.
Okay.
So Arizona is a medical state. And the way it works with their state laws is they accept marijuana cards from California.
Okay.
And California is probably like the easiest state to get your medical card for.
Yeah.
It's like you can get it for, I don't know, like you trimmed your nails too short.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I remember before it was like recreational legal in LA.
Right.
Like you could just go into like on the court, like next to a liquor store, it'd be like, oh, so and so, whatever office, and you just go in and be like, yeah, I'm kind of paranoid, and then they're like, okay, here you go, here's your card.
Yeah. Like, no, I was just scared of this guy outside.
Yeah. No, like there's a lot of homeless guys around. I don't know if this guy's gonna stab me or not.
I just had to dip inside. What do you guys do here?
We give out weed cards.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, so Arizona accepts California. Like, see, that's what's confusing about all the weed laws. Like, I pulled it up the other day because I was just checking because I thought it was like 11 states where it's fully legal.
Yeah,
but
sounds about right.
This website I found had 12. I don't know if that's because Illinois is now
Illinois is a new one.
Yeah, Illinois is new, but it still hasn't gone into effect yet, I don't think.
I don't believe so.
I don't think so, yeah. So I was just trying to like read about the laws, but it's confusing because some places it's like decriminalized, but still illegal. And then some places they have medical, but it's only CBD, like not actual anything with THC in it. Like it's fucking confusing as shit.
Yeah, I think I can't remember which state it was. I think it might have been. Actually, I think it was California tried to get rid of CBD.
Really?
Which is pretty gnarly.
Like try to get rid of CBD recently,
like
or
hemp-derived CBD.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What would be the reason for that? You know?
Because they got big marijuana down there.
Yeah, big marijuana's becoming like big tobacco.
Exactly. They're like, no, we don't want this hemp crap. It's got to come from marijuana.
Yeah.
Because hemp is mostly grown in like super rural countries, or not countries, but states. Like Kentucky grows a lot of hemp. Just because it's so industrialized, and they use it mostly for textiles, but you can still get some CBD out of it.
Right. So they have the weed companies, the we'll call it big weed company, and they don't like the hemp farms.
No,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they probably lobbied against them to get it rid of.
Right.
Get rid of it because the way that hemp CBD works is that you can just deliver it to anybody. So you can have a plant in Portland and then you can deliver it to any state.
Right.
But now California, I think, was cut out of that.
Oh, okay.
So
there's just so many
nuances,
weird regulations.
Yeah.
Is it like that in Canada then, or is Canada just kind of?
Canada's kind of free game right now.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, you guys want weed? You want hookers? Go for it.
Yeah, they're like making everything legal.
Yeah, they're doing it. So
I just don't understand why it's not legal everywhere. And Alex and I talk about this all the time. We did a podcast the other day because we were talking to Bella, who's our 14-year-old.
Okay.
Well, Alex's 14-year-old, my 14-year-old stepdaughter.
Right.
And I asked what they teach in schools, like if they still teach marijuana as like a horrible gateway drug.
Yeah.
And I asked the difference between what they teach about alcohol and marijuana, right? And she was like, alcohol, they spent like not even a full class on. They're just like, hey, don't drink too much, it can damage your liver or whatever.
Right.
And she's like, we had a whole week on weed and like how bad it was. And I'm like, they need to really like change how they're educating kids on weed. And if you think about it, alcohol is way more of a gateway drug than weed.
Yeah.
I think so.
I would say alcohol is one of the only things you can die of if you're addicted to and quit right away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's got to be talked about. If you ever watched that show Intervention,
oh yeah,
the alcohol ones are always the worst.
Yeah.
They're always the worst.
They're always terrible. And I stopped drinking for a while a few years ago because I used to get fucking blacked out all the time. I just got, tired of being hammered all the time, and I started drinking at 13. But you know me, like I used to smoke a lot of weed back in the day in like high school and stuff like that, but it always affected me big time. Like it's so paranoid and everything else, and I can never figure out. I still can't figure out how to like get out of my head when I smoke.
Right.
Which if you have any advice for me, I would love it.
Oh,
because I can't figure it out. I get so fucking. It just like every once in a while I can smoke, and I really enjoy it.
Right.
But then other times, and I do this podcast with Alex now where I smoke and do stuff, and it's fine when we're kind of in the moment. And then after that, the rest of the day, my anxiety's out of control. Everything's like makes it worse. But I used to smoke a little bit, but mostly I drank. And then I stopped drinking and I went to AA for a few months to check that out. I had I wasn't like an alcoholic necessarily.
Right. Nobody is.
Yeah, right. But I was fucking hammered the whole time. But I was like, I just stopped. I was able to just stop drinking. But I was like, I need to figure out why I black out all the time and why I'm like, I can never just have a drink. Now I can, but before I couldn't. So I went to AA for a while. But the stories you hear in AA, holy shit, man.
They're pretty gnarly.
Yeah. Like if you went to, I don't think you could hear the same stories from somebody who, I hesitate to say addicted, but smoked a lot of weed. They're not going to have the same stories as someone who was addicted to alcohol,
Yeah. I think like the scariest story I have with weed is one time I was smoking weed and I was driving and my cherry fell out and I hit a car that hit another car.
Oh shit.
And so it was like a triple car accident that I had done, but we were only going 20 miles per hour. So,
Exactly. That's the other thing too. Like if you, and I do a joke about it, you know, where if you, my fucking doorbell just
that was
rang.
your doorbell.
I wonder if I should get it. No, I mean, I probably shouldn't. It's probably a package. Hang on. Let me
Probably
check.
a package.
Check just in case there's
Can
some.
you check the phone? Or with your phone, can you look at the front door?
Yeah.
That's
You can talk to it too. Which it's. The, I gotta open the door.
you can do that?
No, I can't. Not from my phone. Hold up, I'll be right back.
Whoa. Oh, that's fine. Amazon?
No. Cleaners.
Oh.
What was I saying? What were we talking about? We were talking about
Oh, no.
that's how out of shape I am right now. I ran down the stairs and ran up, and I'm out of breath right now. We were talking about getting in a car accident.
Getting in a car accident, right.
But if you're driving stoned, you're not irresponsible.
I don't feel so.
I don't think anybody. I mean,
It's like you're a little under the speed limit.
yeah.
You're a little bit more. You're like a little bit more scared, so you're driving a little bit better.
Yeah, I actually, I don't use my blinker very often, but the times when I've driven stoned, I notice I use my blinker. I'm like,
Oh.
because I'm more cautious because I don't want to be pulled
Right.
over.
I'll notice I'm using it the entire time.
Yeah.
sometimes.
I haven't turned it off yet.
Whoops, what's that clicking?
But if you're driving drunk, like you just, I mean,
That's
irresponsible, and you can't see straight and everything else. Like I've never been stoned to the point where I couldn't stand up. You know what I mean? Like, so
I've been there once.
really.
Those that doing dabs that'll wreck you.
Oh yeah, I haven't done dabs yet, and people keep telling me to do it for the podcast.
That would be
And,
hilarious.
Yeah, I want to try and do it because I would fucking. I mean,
It just resets you. Like
Really?
you've never. It's the first time smoking weed again.
Really?
All over again because it's so intense that your tolerance level for marijuana that you built up, even though like you're not smoking a whole lot, it won't mean anything.
so like I know what a dab is. Not like I haven't experienced it, but anybody who listens to the podcast who's not familiar with what that is, explain what it is. Because pull up I've seen videos of these dudes like that are dabbing, and they just fill up their whole room with smoke, and like it's nuts. And I'm like, I would die. I think
The smoke is like thicker because it comes from an oil, so it's like it's going to be kind of a heavier pull when you so to explain what a dab, it's generally made from marijuana concentrate. Most people do it with a butane, which sounds scary. Because
it sounds very crackish.
It does. It does. And it's very intimidating. But essentially, what you're doing is you're pouring butane over weed, and that liquid butane will instantly dissolve all of the trichomes, the crystals on top of marijuana, and then it'll fall through the plant, and then it'll like pour out into this dish. And butane actually boils at 33 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So it's just as soon as it hits the ground and room temperature, it's already boiling. And then it kind of boils all off, and then you put it in a vacuum chamber. The vacuum chamber is just designed to keep sucking it, to expand it. It'll be like this tiny little glob, and then it'll expand into like a beach ball. And they'll just keep doing that to try and get all the butane out.
Right.
So the way they call that BHO, or a butane hash oil, and that stuff, it's good if you can't smell butane on it whatsoever. But sometimes you can if it's like shitty weed. But now that we got like professionals doing it and they have these huge machines, it's pretty safe.
Well, that was the thing. We went and toured like a grow facility a while back, and like how long have you been smoking weed?
Since I was 14.
Okay.
So 51% of my life.
So, but you're like obviously because you do the dope show, and
Wait, I did the math wrong. I'm not 38. A long time.
For a long time. Oh shit, that's funny. But obviously, like you're a weed enthusiast for sure. I mean, I don't know how you could not call yourself one. You do the dope show, everything else. And you've seen it change from like weed before it was legal and before people were allowed to like make enhancements to it and things like that, and then to what it is now. But when we toured the grow operation a while back, I was just impressed at how scientific everything is now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, because they showed us how they make the oils and things like that, and like
those big machines.
Yeah, those big machines, and like, you know, they're basically like chemists almost, trying to figure like the right amount of, you know, whatever. I'm not educated enough on it to know exactly, but it's pretty impressive what they can do with it, you know?
It's gnarly. I mean, there's different solvents, so they're trying to figure out different ways of getting it extracted. Like they have CO2 extractions now, which are really cool. But when I was a kid, everything was bubble hash. And bubble hash was just essentially putting weed in water and ice and then shaking it. And then they have these bags, and each bag had a thinner, smaller weave to it. And then, like, so the further down would be like this little sand, and then they would just dry it out. So it was kind of like such a simple way of doing it, just ice and water in bags.
Yeah.
And I remember that was like, I remember seeing that as a kid, just going like, I mean, I don't know why this is so expensive, and I would rather just smoke weed, but it didn't make any sense. And then I was like, this is a fool's market. Nobody's going to pay for this.
Now it's like
now it's
huge.
Everywhere.
But I just wish they would figure out a way, or not figure out a way. I mean, I wish they would just make it federally legal here in the States. Like, it's ridiculous that it's tough too when you travel places and you don't know like what you can get, where you can bring or whatever. You know.
Safe bet is to always play dumb.
Yeah, I know. I was in Chicago before, because they made it legal in Chicago or Illinois, right? But I don't think it's gone into effect yet where it's fully recreational.
I believe so.
But I was there doing comedy for a weekend, and I was asking around. I was like, hey, because, you know, when you do comedy, like, weed's everywhere. There's a lot of comics smoke, and I wanted to try to get some weed, and I was asking around, and nobody, even the comics, were just like, no, we don't even know where you can get it. You know, like,
Doug Benson taught me a trick a long time ago. Just a little name drop. Let me pick that back up. He always said, if you're on stage in a place and you don't have weed, you just say to the audience, I hear this place has really shitty weed.
That's a good trick.
Then somebody eventually be like, oh, weed's pretty good. Try this.
Yeah.
He says it works every time.
It's an easy way to get weed.
Exactly. I just talk about weed for like 20 minutes of my set
Yeah.
until somebody throws it at me. So,
Well, the dope show's fun, dude. I love doing the dope show.
Thank you.
Because it's weird for somebody like me who's a head case. Without weed, and then with weed, I'm more of a head case.
Right.
It's fun to do because when I go up on stage after I'm stoned, it's interesting. I do feel more free to like try other jokes that I've been thinking of, or just riff on things. And I've noticed that I usually do the dope show, and my high set is more fun for me.
For sure.
And it's kind of weird feeling to be on stage if you don't smoke, and then all of a sudden you're on stage and all these people want you to talk and stuff.
Yeah, that's the terrifying part, I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like the scariest part of doing my show is the meet and greet after.
Yeah. And I'm usually not around for that because I'm like,
Exactly.
I can barely talk to people when I'm not stoned, but I'm stoned. I'm like, I got to get out of here.
That's the part most comics sweat, I feel.
Yeah. But I've thought about, after I did the last dope show, I was talking to Alex, and I was like, man, I think I want to go on stage high more often, because I actually, it's weird. I feel almost more loose, and like I can have a little bit more fun. But in a one-on-one conversation, when I'm high, I'm so in my head the whole time. I can't figure out what it is, because I just like, 'cause I'll go talk. I've talked to bud tenders too, and I'm like, hey, how do I? Is there a strain that's like not gonna cause so much paranoia, not gonna get me like all in my head and everything else? And I don't know. Maybe if I just have a low tolerance or something.
It could be. Yeah, I would always recommend lower dosage. And I just watched this documentary on Netflix. It was about like cannabis. I think it was called Explained or whatever. But they were saying how indica and sativa and hybrid generally doesn't mean anything anymore, because these plants have been bred so many times. And it's like they have no idea what percentage of it. It's purely based off the feeling that whoever is making it describes it as.
Okay.
So like this is heavy, so I'm going to call it an indica. This is like more head high, so I'm going to call it sativa.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. Is like, how do they? Because I read the labels, I'm like, oh, it's a hybrid,
Right?
And I'm like, how do they actually know?
They don't. They don't. They're just basing it off of what somebody felt when they smoked it, and everybody feels everything differently. So
you can't really know.
you can't really know. You kind of got to go with, just try a bunch of things and see what works for you.
Yeah.
Like I think my one of my favorite strains is bubblegum, and it's like
Who's bubblegum by?
I mean that's just a common strain.
Oh, it is.
You can
Okay.
find it by anybody.
All right.
But it's a pretty super mellow kind of social high, and that's kind of what I shoot for, is something that I can socialize on, because I'm smoking for anxiety like all day long.
Right.
And that to me is like the best feeling that we can give you, is that kind of like, I'm okay to be here.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking for, because I never have that. There are a few occasions, and I should take note of like what it is that I smoke. There are a few occasions where I have that feeling like, oh, this is cool. I'm chill. I'm having fun, and it feels okay to be there. But a lot of times for me, it's like that feeling like like something's wrong. Like it increases my anxiety.
Yeah.
So
if it's really high in THC,
Yeah.
that's the thing that people are pushing for, is they want those THC CBD numbers now.
Mhm.
And the higher the THC is, the more paranoid you're gonna get.
Okay.
But people want that because they like think that means you're gonna get, it's like a higher alcohol percentage.
Oh, okay.
But I would suggest for like a lower one and something that has a little bit more CBD in there, because the more THC you have, the less CBD you're gonna have in the plant.
I will say this: I bought these CBD drinks a while back, and they also sell like CBD pre-rolls and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's just straight CBD.
Oh yeah.
I like the way those make me feel. They
Those are
don't.
good.
They don't obviously don't get you high or anything else, but they do like mellow you out. For sure. So I do like that.
Yeah. My last job was I was a marketing director for a CBD manufacturer. It was like, it holds 4% of the market, so it was a pretty big company. But so I learned so much about CBD, and that was all hemp based. So it was like an international company, because we're just doing industrial hemp.
Because you can do that wherever, right?
Yeah, ever since the Agricultural Act of 2014, industrial hemp has been legalized for pretty much any type of manufacturing.
Yeah.
So we got a hold of that. We started working with this company, and I experimented with a ton of CBD, just because, part of my job was to help create new products, new product lines, and just see how it affects people. And CBD, like, I personally believe, and I know there's a lot of like online data, mostly from people's own experiences, of it just being great for anxiety and great for like anything that's an actual ailment.
Yeah.
THC is, I mean, it's great to feel good, but it can definitely make you paranoid.
Yeah. How often, like, because you do the Dope Show as many places as you can now, right? Do you ever get shit from, like, have you ever gotten like any kind of like police legal shit?
Yeah.
With it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not from actual police officers, but liquor control board agents.
Really?
Yeah. So like cops that were kicked off the force for like doing something. I'm probably against a minority.
I mean, most likely.
Most likely.
Let's face it.
It's not like they got fired for being too kind to people.
Yeah.
So these guys who are just assholes who get kicked off the force, they usually end up in these liquor control board agent jobs, which is essentially just bar police.
Yeah.
And they go around seeing if people are breaking the laws with cannabis now. And we got one shakedown at the Parlor, a club that...
Wait, so the liquor control board is actually trying to police cannabis too?
Yeah. So it's the Cannabis and Liquor Control Board.
Oh, they changed it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So the Liquor Control Board handles alcohol and cannabis. So they can deal out fines and they can collect liquor licenses and stuff like that. So they saw that I was doing the show, and like kind of from the advertisements, kind of from the feel of it, they assumed that we were just lighting up on stage or smoking in the green room, which is highly illegal. You can't smoke anywhere besides a private domicile in the state. So they came to the show, and it was just so lame. It's like instead of joints, I was just like, we're gonna do edibles and just keep it in your pocket. And it's just like keep it in your pocket. So then a liquor control board agent actually came into the green room and like looked around, and it was like, dude, I'm here with a headliner that he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then it was so weak too, and it was kind of like I don't know, it was just too much at once. I was super bummed, but that's about the only thing. They've called a few of my venues to make sure that nobody's smoking inside, but after that one shakedown, and then there was one more shakedown at another club, but that liquor control board agent actually slapped a girl's butt.
What?
And, like,
in other words, he got kicked off the real police force for probably doing something similar.
Probably doing something similar, and then he was at this place, and I guess he slapped a waitress on the butt.
What the fuck? How are you a liquor control board dude going in to check something and then you end up slapping somebody on the ass?
I don't know, but I thank them every day for it, because ever since that happens, they have just completely left the show.
They do whatever you
like, hey, we're really sorry. We're going to do an internal investigation. We're going to look at ourselves now.
Yeah. Like, we did actually take a long look at what we've been doing, because what the fuck? How did it happen? How did he slap? Like,
I think he was just like, what's up, toots? And like, yeah, well, fucking, slap on the rear.
I'm liquor control.
Exactly.
Like,
hey, have you seen my paper badge?
Yeah, check me out.
Exactly. So I wasn't there for that one. I just heard about it.
Really?
And it was like, all right, that's great. So,
what's one of your favorite sounds cheesy, but what's one of your favorite memories from like the dope show? Like, what's one of the best dope shows you've had, you think?
There's been so many great memories, and there's been some really fun things that have happened at the show. Memories that really stand out, I can tell you that. Like, one of the questions I usually get asked is like, if has anybody had like a panic attack on the show?
Yeah.
And that's totally happened before.
Really?
There's been a few times where a comic will, this one guy who was touring with the headliner, he never smoked weed before and decided to do it for the first time on my show, which I don't recommend it, but...
So this is the first time he'd ever smoked weed?
First time he'd ever smoked weed.
Okay.
And he's doing it at this place in Portland where everybody's smoking weed, and the show is a really hard show to be on anyways, because it was like... they allowed smoking in the facility, so everybody's like it was like an opium den. So like just trying to perform.
There's a fucking caterpillar sitting on a couch in the corner smoking
just trying to make that caterpillar laugh, and it's just not happening. So it was a place where they don't allow flower smoke, but they allow oil smoke, so you can just get ripped. And it was a fun show at the beginning, but it always turned into like a zombie fest halfway through. So this guy, he's already nervous because it was like hard to perform in front of all these like just zonked out people, and then he smoked weed and it made him so paranoid, and he ended up running away. Like, he physically ran out of the building because I was like holding him, trying to get him, and then he like did like a little broke his
like a
arm
move.
and then sprinted out the door, and I chased him for like 10, 20 feet, and then I was just like, fuck it.
So you didn't even chase him for that long?
Yeah.
You made it out the door, and you're like, all
right.
Fuck, okay. That's hilarious.
This isn't going to work. And I think on that same show, another comedian got really high and ended up walking down the street to go buy food, and like didn't make it back for his set. And it was just like...
So he got high and he got high and then forgot that he had to do a show and just went to go get food instead.
Just went and got food, and he was like, oh, did I make it back in time? And I'm like, no, no, you didn't. You can tell that because I'm packing my car right now.
Yeah, because the show is fucking done.
It's happened a few times. Now we have, I have an extra person just to make sure we don't lose people.
Really? Always somebody there just in
always
case.
somebody just making sure.
When you went to Australia for like a while back in the day.
Back in the day,
I always wanted to ask you about that because we never really talked about that. But you were doing comedy over there too, or?
So it was the Melbourne Comedy Festival, a huge comedy festival. It goes down in Australia. I wasn't invited, but I showed up. And I ended up getting on a few shows, which was great. It was like a super happy coincidence. I didn't know about the festival.
Oh, really?
But
you went to go.
Yeah.
And then ended up finding the festival.
Exactly. So I was like, it was like maybe I was 30. I can't remember. But when I was 18, my buddy and I let an Australian guy crash on our couch for like a week, who was just on like a countrywide or a worldwide walkabout. And he said if we ever wanted to stay with him, hit him up. And we hit him up like over 10 years later. And we were like, hey, buddy. Remember us? And he's like, okay. Completely a different person now. Like we were just like kids who were getting wasted in the day. But now he's like an environmental scientist.
Oh, shit.
He was in the process of getting married and moving into his fiance's house. So he happened to have a 2-bedroom condo in a hip town in Melbourne. And we just stayed there for a month.
Oh, that's cool.
And like the whole festival was that month. So we were just like
that's amazing.
bouncing around doing shows. And
that's fucking funny though. Like what a weird coincidence.
Yeah. It perfectly worked
out.
And
that long later you hit him up.
Yeah. He wasn't stoked.
Probably not. He's like, wait a second. So these 2 stoners from the United States want to come fucking stay at my house. And I told them they could 10 years ago. And I'm Australian. So like I'm kind hearted. So I'll do it.
Exactly. They're so nice. They can't say no.
Yeah. Australians are fucking nice people, man. I don't think I've ever met an Australian that I didn't like.
Super nice people.
I also don't like it when people come to my house unannounced. Like, I think most people don't like just like a random knock on their door.
Right.
Alex and I moved into this place, I don't know how long ago, like 7 months ago, and it's weird because I'm not a super social person.
Right.
I mean, I like being social. I like talking to people, but I'm pretty introverted. And I've never really talked to neighbors and stuff. I'm not like,
I get that.
And we moved in and instantly people were coming over to the house and like bringing cookies and shit like that. And I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
I've never lived in a neighborhood where they do that, so I'm kind of just like, okay, whatever. Just like, leave me alone. It was a few Saturdays ago and there was a ring at the doorbell. And I hear Alex answer the door, and I hear her talking to someone, and had an Australian accent. And I went down, and it was like some guy from down the street who just decided to stop by. And I'm like, "Hey, man, of course you're fucking Australian. That's cool. I'll sit here and talk to you."
So you're just happy. I only talk to my foreign neighbors.
Only Australian neighbors.
Only Australian neighbors. Accept his gifts. That's cool.
How long were you down there? How long were you in Australia for?
A month.
Was it only a month?
Only a month. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was longer for some reason.
No, it was a month. And it was actually, so I messed up on the travel back. My buddy still gives me shit for this. So Australia is a day behind us. And if you print out your documents in America, it's going to give you the wrong date for the return. So we missed our flight by an entire day.
Oh, shit.
And boy, was my face red. There was like no helping us because we had gotten like such a sweet deal to go down there. It was $9.50 for a round trip ticket to Australia we flew out of Vancouver because it's normally like a $2,000 ticket if you fly out of Seattle, but if you fly out of British Columbia because they're all under the Royal
whatever it is.
Yeah. It's like half the price. So we ended up having to pay an extra $1,000 just to fly home that day.
Oh shit!
It was so bad. It was
What's the weed situation like in Australia?
It was awful. Oh
really?
My god. So we did a few drugs while we were down there. We tried to find anything we could. First off, like alcohol was insane. It was like $10 a beer everywhere we went.
Okay.
Which was just like, oh my God, you guys hate getting drunk because it's so hard to get drunk off of like $10 beers. And then we finally, like when I got into the comedy community, that's when I was like trying to find some weed. And they're like, all the weed that's in the town has been bought up by headliners. We can't.
They bought all the weed.
Yeah, they bought all the weed
in Melbourne.
You're not going to get anything because you're not even booked on this show.
Yeah, you shouldn't even be here at all.
Like the walk-ons aren't getting weed. I'm sorry. I'm like, fuck. But I made friends with a few local comics, and then one of them actually ended up selling me some weed cookies. But he was like, don't eat more than one, man. Don't eat more than one. Just eat half a cookie.
Right.
I'm like,
You're
okay,
like,
bro.
I'll be fine.
I'm sure I'll be fine. And I bought 6 of them, and I ate like 2 the first day. And I was like, he just ripped me off. Like,
really?
This is just a cookie. It's just a cookie. And then, like, I ended up eating the last 4, I think, just
because you were hungry.
Because I was hungry at that point. I'm like, I paid for these fucking cookies. I'm going to eat them. So...
So was it easier to find other drugs there than weed?
So we found mushrooms.
Okay.
And we were trying to get mushrooms because everything is really hard to get in Australia just because it's like so secluded and most drugs come from America, I feel like. So we found mushrooms and they're in capsules. We ate those and we are going to go to this butterfly like exhibit. And like it was like it's supposed to be some sort of dome where butterflies fly on you. I'm like, that's a good place to go on mushrooms. But we just didn't feel anything, and then like just had like horrible burps. Just like I'm pretty sure they just gave us capsules of cow shit.
So you went to Australia and got some weed cookies that were just Toll House
Totally crap
cookies. They didn't do anything, and then you tried to take some mushrooms, and it just gave you indigestion.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody fed me dirt in capsules. So,
have you done? So you've done, you've done a lot of like the like hallucinogens too, like mushrooms or not hallucinogens. That's not the right word. What the fuck word am I thinking of?
Party drugs.
No, I mean but no. Psychedelics. There you go. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I've done mushrooms and stuff like that younger, but god damn it, I'm blanking again on. There's one thing that I want to try. As soon as I
DMT.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
all right, you knew already.
That's what everybody wants.
Yeah, have you ever tried it?
I smoked a very tiny amount, and I didn't get what like people say when you smoke that you're supposed to see like that Tool poster,
yeah,
where it's like the God face and that's all
and
directions,
all
like halls, it's endless and just really trippy.
And they say you're supposed to smoke it in like the high is like 10 minutes, right? But it feels like an eternity. It's like a long time, and you feel like you're in another dimension.
Yeah, and
people get high off it and legitimately say like it changed their life
for sure,
and things like that. So I've been curious about that. But you smoked a little bit of it.
Smoked a little bit of it, and I just kind of got like a cartoon world effect. So I wouldn't say I've actually done it. I think it had like a little tiny amount,
right?
And it might not even been it. Who knows?
It was from some dude in Australia.
I know, exactly. It was just probably like old paint thinner. It's scraped off. I get screwed on a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
Don't ask for my opinion on anything.
On anything.
Don't do DMT. It gives you diarrhea for a week.
And I had to put it in water and it fizzed up. I don't think that's
bullshit.
DMT.
Goddamn Australians.
Yeah, I've wanted to try that though. Because I tripped out. I saw a documentary on it a while back,
right?
And I was like, man, that sounds crazy.
You know who to talk to is Shane Moss.
Yeah. I worked with him a few times, and I know he's doing the tour now where he does like science, and he's a smart fucking guy.
But he had that documentary Psychonaut.
Oh, did he do a documentary on it?
All the different types of psychedelics and hallucinogens.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's on Amazon.
Okay.
I'm just here to promote his stuff. Check it out. Psychonaut.
Tyler Smith's here to talk about Shane Moss's projects.
Big fan. Gotta see him. If you have time, look up.
Go check him out. But
yeah.
I didn't know he had a documentary on it.
Yeah. He went insane because he was doing like all these hallucinogens.
Really?
So he ended up in an insane asylum for like a couple months.
Are you fucking serious? I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like out of touch with a lot of shit, but I like Shane a lot, and I worked with him a few weekends right when he was kind of like starting to get into the psychedelic stuff.
Right.
And he was reading all these like he's a smart guy. He's reading all these science books, and like then I remember at the comedy club, we're sitting there and we were watching like the opener, and he was like, "Hey, where can I get some DMT?" And I'm like, I have no fucking idea. Like I saw that other documentary a while back, but I'm like, I don't even know. I'm sorry, I can't help you out. Like if you want some weed, maybe you want coke, maybe I can find something else, but I'm not going to be able to find you DMT.
I'm not even sure where it's manufactured.
Yeah.
I don't even know what like race of people I should even ask.
Yeah.
Like,
I can
clearly white. I get it.
Yeah, definitely DMT is a white drug for sure. A white, I don't even know. I was going to say, like, how do you profile the DMT user? Like,
oof. I don't know, because it's so hard, because it's like the only person I know that publicly does it is Joe Rogan and Shane Moss, and that doesn't really
yeah,
that's such a diverse
they're very different. They're very different.
Exactly. Someone in between.
Yeah. So Shane actually, he went like insane from
he had like a bit of a mental breakdown and ended up going to a hospital for a while.
Wow.
But
I had no idea.
It's all in that documentary.
I'll have to check it out.
Nuts. It's a really good, I swear, like, if you don't want to go to the dope show, just check out Psychonaut. Yeah. It's a great, I even paid for it.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out then. Cause I've thought about trying. I mean, what's the drug that you've done, that you would say was the trippiest thing ever for you?
So I've done a lot of acid in my days. And that's probably, it's like trippy, but I would say the biggest hallucinations I've had have been on mushrooms.
Yeah.
But I used to do a lot of, like, I don't really do a whole lot of drugs anymore besides weed now. Just too old. And all my dealers went crazy. So,
and ever since those Australian drugs,
exactly, I'm
not really into it anymore.
Not into it anymore. So I've really mellowed out in my old age. But my youth, I used to do a lot of this thing called hippie flipping.
What's that?
Which is when you take a little bit of Molly and a little bit of mushrooms. And that, my friend, is a good time. It's like,
hippie flipping.
Hippie flipping, because mushrooms can cause, they can, definitely shed light or magnify any type of emotions you're feeling.
Yeah.
So if you're like kind of more of a paranoid, kind of more of like, less social or whatever, if you're more introverted, it can magnify that, so you're like way introverted.
Yeah, I'd done mushrooms a couple of times.
And you just want to be by yourself.
Oh yeah, just by my dude. Yeah. In the room with the light off, even just
exactly
fucking alone. Yep.
That is one of the problems with mushrooms. But if you put a little bit of Molly in there, back into the spotlight.
You're back out there and you're ready to dance.
You're like, this is amazing. Who wants to talk about life?
Oh shit, that's funny. I have to keep that in mind.
I always say, Molly was definitely like a safety. It was like it was in our like emergency kit for mushrooms. Like, are you having a bad trip? Here, let's add more drugs.
Yeah, let's just add way more drugs to it.
Exactly.
What do you feel like? I mean, obviously you're a weed advocate.
Yeah.
And you have to stay up to date on, like, even when we were talking earlier, and you were talking about things, and it's like you kind of stay up to date on like the regulations and all that kind of stuff. Like, how much are you reading and paying attention to just the?
I'll probably spend a few hours a week, and then I have a few email notifications I get from like subscribing to Google News on like what states are getting legalized, and then mostly I focus on like marketing regulations. Because it's always been my primary focus. My original day job was in marketing, and my education background's in marketing. So that's what I credit most of my success to, is just being a good marketer.
Yeah.
So, and then I attribute a lot of success to the Dope Show on it's supporting companies that sponsor it. Like, I can't get the word out myself, but I have a few really awesome companies that can help me get the word out. So you just kind of stay up on top of what you're allowed to say, what you're allowed to do.
Yeah, that's what bugs me too. Like, there's a lot of the regulations that go along with weed that bother me, but with the advertising stuff bugs the shit out of me because their companies aren't allowed to advertise anywhere really. I mean, like you can't ever, if you're a weed company, you can't advertise on radio, which obviously I'm familiar with from radio. You can't do TV, you know, you can't do any of that kind of stuff. But yet alcohol, the entire, you know, Super Bowl is sponsored by anything, you know, you can put alcohol anywhere, but they won't let you put weed. Even in legal states, you can't do it. And that doesn't make any sense to me. So,
yeah, I think it's just because a lot of people have monopolies on things and they just don't want the competition. I'm sure a lot of alcohol companies don't want to compete for that ad space.
No, I actually read the other day that binge drinking for college students is actually down in states where recreational weed is legal.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't know if I can go get blacked out hammered when I can just hang out and smoke some weed with my friends. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so there's actually, like, they're seeing positives even in college kids. You know?
I would say there's got to be like tons of benefits to it. I mean, I think I'm an advocate for legalizing anything. I think you're going to see positive things from it.
I do too. I mean, honestly, I feel like most things when it comes to drugs, even prostitution and stuff like that. Like, I feel like it should all be legal and tax it, make money off it. Also, if you take it out of the hands of the people who, like, there's always going to be people trying to get over. Like, if you're talking about prostitution, there's always going to be people trying to pimp on their own. But if you take it out of like a lot of those guys' hands and put it in like a place where they're tested, everything else
regulated,
and, I mean, and if you think about a prostitute, it's like, unless it's like a human trafficking situation, you also kind of alleviate some of that. I think if you make it legal, there's not going to be the issue like the prostitute is there because she's working and she knows the deal, and then whoever's going to them knows the deal, and if they can be safe and it's like regulated, I think it's way better than some dude trying to go find it in a alley somewhere, or you know, or the human trafficking thing,
driving down the strip or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I think most of that stuff should be legal. I think if you decriminalize a lot of things, there will be less criminals.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously,
that makes
get
rid of laws.
Sense,
there will be no criminals.
That makes actually perfect sense. But you know what I mean, though,
no, for
right?
Sure.
Like, it'll be safer and they'll be able to actually police it rather than not being able to.
And I think I read something about how Australia, after legalizing prostitution, like sex crimes and like rape and sexual assault, all of those drop down dramatically.
Yeah,
because you're giving like an outlet for these, you know, dudes who need to get laid.
Yeah.
And,
exactly.
So they just need that, you know. I feel like it's a service that is needed to be provided, and maybe we can, if we had prostitutes here, we probably wouldn't even have this new insult, which is my new favorite word, incel.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh my god.
We wouldn't even have these incels walking around because we'd be like, hey man, just go get a hooker.
Yeah. So what's an incel again?
An incel is somebody who is involuntarily celibate. A guy who can't get laid.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much his own personality being.
Is the reason that he cannot get laid.
Cannot get laid, yeah.
Everything has to have a fucking name now, and it bugs me.
I like that insult though, because it's like it definitely describes a lot of dudes in the way I'm trying to convey.
Yes,
like this fucking incel over here.
Involuntarily celibate, not because you're an asshole or you're fucking whatever. Yeah, I mean, it would solve a lot of that though. Like, there's a lot of guys like who just can't get laid or whatever, and
it's depressing.
It is. It's very depressing when you can't get laid, for sure.
There would be less mass shootings if there was more hookers. I mean, try explaining this to your girlfriend now.
Yeah, you're like, I'm serious. There just needs to be more hookers.
I'm just saying. I wouldn't do anything. I'm just saying these guys are clearly suffering.
They're very angry for a reason. They need an outlet. But I do think that it should. I do think a lot of stuff should be legal.
I agree.
I don't understand why it's not. And then, you know, all the people that are still in jail for weed charges is fucking ridiculous to me. You know,
it is bullshit. I should be one of those people, But I'm very lucky that I live in a city with a kind of an open door policy when it comes to weed dealers.
Right. Yeah. Did I don't know if you want to talk about it on the podcast or not, but didn't you got in trouble a while back before it was? This is before it was legalized.
After it was legalized.
It was after it was legalized. Okay.
Yeah, I talk about it in my act, so I'm not too shy about it. But I was one of the first people to get arrested in Seattle for marijuana after it got legalized. So
that's something to be proud of.
It's a little plaque I have at home.
So what happened?
I sold weed to a cop, and it was a sting operation. So I was in a hotel room, and ironically, it was the hotel that I lived across the street from. So I could see my own house when I got arrested. I was like, fuck.
God damn it.
But it was a crazy story. I used to work for this kind of medical delivery company, and we would just, they would screen people at the call center for their medical license and their IDs, and then I just go out there and give them whatever weed. Because a lot of people who are using medical marijuana before we got rid of it were like unable of leaving their house.
So you were delivering. So you were delivering like medical weed to people. Okay. And
there was this hotel that I won't even hide it. The Hotel Nexus on Northgate. You can see I left a review on that hotel.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Like, don't stay at this place. You'll get fucking arrested. Don't stay at this place.
They rent out rooms to cops. Like, they had a sting operation. Very unprofessional. 2 stars. It was a nice room, but
the room was nice, but the cop and the sting operation was bullshit.
Real bullshit. Fucking the cleaning lady didn't even give me a heads up. So yeah, I was called there, and like that place is really common to go to because it's one of the cheaper hotels. It's one of the nicer ones, but one of the cheaper ones.
It's like a nice cheap hotel
right next to the polyclinic and a bunch of other clinics.
Okay.
So I've definitely been there a lot of times visiting like cancer patients from out of town because we have really good cancer care in our city. So people come here from all around the world, and they stay at that shitty hotel.
And they're like, I just fucking want the cancer to take me now.
Exactly.
I'm at this shitty hotel where there's fucking cops everywhere.
And, oh my God, I just realized this. I know we've been talking shit about Australians, but the cop called me. He was using an Australian accent.
Are you serious?
I swear to God. And I was like, God, this, like, first I didn't think it was that great of an accent. I'm like, what is this? Like, all right.
This is kind of a bad fake accent.
It's a bad fake accent, but he was going for Australian. And I'm like, this is all right, whatever.
That's a weird choice for like an undercover cop.
Yeah.
Why? I wonder why he felt he needed to be Australian.
Theory was because you need to be a state person to have a medical card. So he was like kind of giving us an excuse to check his medical card, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Or he was just masking his own voice.
Or he was just like way too caught up in the act. Like,
or he's like a fucking cop who wanted to be an actor.
Yeah, and he's like, this is my chance. I'm doing undercover right now.
Did you guys catch that one? That was pretty good, right? That was pretty good. I think I'm going to wear a hat and a wig this time. They're like, come on, John, just fucking.
And he's like, my name's not John, it's Liam. And they're like, that sounds fucking English, man.
He's just method acting. Like, won't even give it up. Yeah, he's going to be a liquor control board agent pretty soon.
Yeah. So he called you with the
Australian accent?
Australian accent.
Yeah. Well, he called the call center that I worked for. Because the company, I knew it wasn't like 100% legit because it was medical, but it was a pretty legit company. Like, we had a lot of employees. We had ads in the paper. So it was pretty big. But so I show up. And I bring him the weed, and I'm like, here's your pot. And he's like, great. He just hands me the cash. And I was like, you're not even going to look at it? Like, what do you look at it? It's really good weed. I'm like really proud of this, actually.
You're like kind
you
of
asked
offended,
me
like,
for the best weed.
Yeah.
And you're not even going to check what I brought you. And like at first I was offended. I should have been suspicious, but I was offended. And I was like, look at the goddamn weed.
You're just like, give me my weed back, actually. Here's your fucking money. I'm out of here. You're a dick.
This is golden pineapple, bro. Smell that. Smell it. Like, still trying to pitch. I'm still doing my sales pitch, even though he already gave me the money. And then he smelled it. He's like, it's great. It's great. I'm like, all right. And he just kind of shuffled me out. But as soon as we made like that first step to the door bust open, and like 13 SWAT members came in. And they like tackled me, like held all my arms and legs. And I was just like, whoa, fuck.
And you're like, are you guys here? Because he didn't respect the weed either? Yeah, fuck that guy.
I was so clueless to the situation that I thought this guy had done some shady shit. I was like, what did you do? What did you drag me in here for? You fucking piece of shit Australian. He's a foreigner. Get him out of here. Get that guy out of here.
Shit.
But yeah, they arrested me, and they arrested like 30 people that day.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was a pretty big operation. Ended up in the news. That's my news credit.
Yeah. It's like when you come up on stage, it's one of your credits.
It's one of my credits. I'm going to count this guy on Evening Magazine during the drug pest of 2016.
Shit, that's crazy, though.
So it was pretty gnarly.
But were you able to escape from that pretty easily? Like,
no.
As far as charges go, or no?
So I was in court for over a year for that.
Damn.
And I wasn't allowed to leave the state. They were trying to charge me with a VLSCA charge, which is trafficking narcotics. It's
right.
Like one of the more serious charges you can get for being a drug dealer. And I was facing 5 to 15, and for how much weed I had on me, because I had over a pound.
Yeah.
They took my car.
Damn.
They took all my money. Because they have this law called cease and forfeiture laws. So if you can't prove your income, if you can't prove how you provided things, then they just take everything.
Right.
Because they assume that you got it from illegal methods.
Dealing drugs or whatever.
The car was used in the delivery, so it's automatically confiscated as evidence. So I had to give them my car. They took it. I didn't give it to them. They just took it. I didn't give them anything.
You were like, hey, guys, you want my car?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they took all the money out of my wallet, which was really fucked up. It was definitely like a shakedown. Like they just opened my wallet, took all the money out, and I didn't get it back, which is crazy. Because it was like $2,000.
Yeah. And they took it as evidence or something, and you never got it back.
Never got it back.
Not even after everything was done?
Nope.
Jesus.
So a year in court. So it turns out that sting operation was put on, and this might sound crock-potty, like conspiracy theory, but it was kind of put on by big marijuana, because legal marijuana was tired of all these black market medical shops, because they should have been shut down, but we were still kind of in operation, and most time people didn't really care, because they're like, let's not get rid of it, but we voted to get rid of it, so we got rid of it.
One of those things where it's like, we'll just kind of look the other way, even though we voted to get rid of it, but big marijuana was not having that.
Exactly. So they had the sting operation, arrested essentially all the big marijuana delivery people.
Damn.
And but the city district attorney didn't want to prosecute us.
Yeah.
So we were just doing like plea bargains for the entire, like everybody just got a plea bargain.
You're lucky that happened in Washington State.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would still be in jail if I was in another state.
What were you thinking? Like, had you been arrested before that ever?
No.
No, never.
First time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It was very elusive. So.
I mean, I've been arrested before, but never for anything where it was like you're gonna have to do significant amount of time or anything else like that. You know, what was going through your mind when it was like, man, I could potentially have to do 15 years? I
was terrified, but everybody who was locked up with me was super confident that I wasn't going to see time, because I was arrested with a ton of like pot dealers. All those people are stressing out, but everybody who was already in jail, they were just like, "What? You're here for weed?"
Oh, like the people that were already there.
Yeah,
like not the people that you got arrested with. The guys that were just there.
The guys that
were
just there. You're like, you're fine, bro. And then, like, I remember I got released because they're releasing us in groups. Like, a big chunk of us would go another holding cell that was being away to see a judge. So, like, a big group of us were just waiting in the cell. And I was sitting next to this dude, And I'm like, he's like, what are you in here for? And I was like, just weed. He's like, every one of you, because it was like a big day of weed dealers. So he's like, you're gonna be fine, man. You're gonna be fine. I'm like, what are you in here for? He's like, I'm in here for heroin. And I'm like, really? And I was like, how much heroin did you have when you got arrested? I had 6 ounces of heroin.
Oh shit.
And I was like, fuck. How long are you going away for? Like that. Ugh.
You're like, you're not gonna be fine.
You're not gonna be fine, dude. I'm so sorry.
Damn.
And he goes, this is my 7th arrest, man.
Oh wow.
Don't worry about it. And he and I got released the same time.
Really? So he was in there for having 6 ounces of heroin and had several arrests, and he also got out.
He just got released same day, same time. We spent the same amount of time in King County.
It's so weird to me that there's guys with these like that get arrested constantly, and they're always getting out, and then you hear about some people who get picked up like you did for the first time, and they're not as lucky.
Right.
And then they're in there for like fucking 20 years or something for something that seems not insignificant, when the guys like that have like multiple heroin charges, and for some reason they are able to get out.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I think it was anybody who was in drug charges in this city are getting released because it's kind of what's going on in our town right now. So, but it was terrifying. I was in court for a year about it. I ended up getting a fine, and the fine was for operating without a business license.
Oh, nice.
Which is just $1,000.
Yeah,
not bad. Not bad. Also, like 30,000 legal fees.
Damn.
And then they took my car still, and my car had been in jail. My car had been in car jail for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally, at the very end of it, when they're like, all right, this is what we're settling with you guys. I was like, I want my car back, and like my lawyer was like, dude, shut up. Just
stop
shut
talking.
up. And I was like, no, I want that car, because I'm pretty sure there's more drugs in the car. So if we could get the car back, that would be awesome. So they were like, are you serious? And we're like, yeah, I'm serious. And they're like, so they like jabber back and forth, and they come back out, and they're like, all right, we'll give you your car back, but you got to buy it from us. So I had to buy my car back from the cops for $2,000. And they asked me to bring $2,000 in cash to the police station.
After they already had 2,000.
Yeah, exactly.
From earlier.
Yeah, I'm like, can you just take it out of evidence? Because it's in there. But they're like, no, we want $2,000 cash. And I was like, you realize you're asking somebody who was arrested for drug dealing and just lost all of his money to cease and forfeiture to bring you cash into the police station?
Bring you $2,000 in cash. So where am I going to get that?
I was like, I'm not doing that. So I got a cashier's check.
Yeah, smart.
And cashier's check made out to the Seattle Police Department.
If you would have showed up with cash, they'd been like, where'd you get the cash? And you're like, fuck, this again?
Exactly.
Jesus.
Exactly. So
That's crazy.
Got him a cashier's check, and then I finally got my car back. And those fucking pigs, I hate cops now. I fucking hate cops. I know they're just doing their jobs, but fuck you.
Yeah. But there's some that are fucking assholes.
Exactly. There's some that are assholes, and there's some, I don't know, man. I would say this is
and there's some that are just straight up dirty.
refuse.
There are straight up dirty cops, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, they're people.
For sure.
But anyway, go ahead.
People left unchecked will do shitty things. So the day I got arrested, I had just bought a 20-ounce like caramel latte from Starbucks, and I had one sip out of it, left it in my front seat, and I got arrested like January, get my car back February the next year. That Starbucks caramel latte was still sitting there.
Oh God!
And it just looked like a jar of hair. It's like
disgusting.
the disgustingest. I was like, ugh. Just what? I just like dumped it on the car next to mine at the police lot. Like, fuck you guys.
Ugh.
And they siphoned all my gas out.
They fucking siphoned your gas.
They siphoned the gas out. So I had no gas to get out of there.
Oh shit!
It was just a double whammy.
That's terrible.
But all of that was actually why, and a big reason why I started the Dope Show, because that happened all around the same time.
Yeah.
So like I had to prove my income, and I had to like get a real life. So I just rolled with the Dope Show.
Yeah.
It's honestly, that's why I do it, and
that's awesome.
It's crazy. That show kind of saved my life.
That's sweet. So, well, go check out the Dope Show.
Yeah.
It's a fun show. I do it once in a while whenever Tyler asks me to do it. But it's, you know, like Where are you off to next with the Dope Show?
The next one's February 16th, Tacoma Comedy Club, and then we got one February 26th or something in Spokane, and one in between there. I should have my dates all memorized.
That's fine.
Just,
I promote my shit all the time on my own podcast, and I never know my dates. I'm having to pull up my own website most of the time.
Yeah.
If you want Tyler's dates, just go to shanemoss.com.
Just go to Shane Moss. It's on the back of the Psychonauts DVD. But no, the next one's February 16th, Tacoma, February 23rd, Spokane, and February 28th in Portland. And then there's a bunch other. You can just check out my website, which is whosmokesweed.me.
That's a good website.
Thank you very much.
Whosmokesweed.me, and then people can follow you on social media.
Yeah.
At Tyler, is it at Tyler Smith on everything?
It's at High BS.
High BS, that's it.
Tyler Smith was too common of a name.
Yeah. High BS, HIGHBS.
Correct.
So at High BS, whosmokesweed.me, and make sure you come check out the Dope Show. Thanks for coming and hanging out, dude. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having
I'll
me.
be back on for sure. I want to have you back on and do like a Dope Show podcast, though.
I'm down.
Like where we do like the first little bit, then we just start smoking halfway through, and then just see what happens. I want to do that soon. Okay. I didn't want to do it today because I have to go to the airport later.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking as sketchy as I am. Weird shit always happens to me whenever I'm stoned and go out. Like a while back, I took some edibles before going to the airport, and we're going. Well, I said some edibles, but I'm a bitch, so I took like half of an edible. So
a quarter of an edible.
Yeah. So Alex goes, "You want an edible?" She tosses it to me, and I'm like, "I can't eat this whole thing. You know me." And she's like, "They're like 10 milligrams or something like that." And I'm like, "Well,
children's
still."
strength.
Yes, I know. Yeah, exactly. She's like, "I have like 4," and I'm like, "Well, I'll take half of one, and then I'll save and I'll see how it hits me." And then on the way down there, I just get super high.
No.
But then I'm in the TSA, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm so high. And I'm just trying to pay attention and just get through the TSA because just how I am when I'm stoned. And all of a sudden I hear like shouting from the like metal detector,
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And there was this dude with one leg, right, who is hopping up and down, screaming at the TSA agent because she wouldn't let him hop through the metal detector. Because she thought he would fall. And he's like jumping back and forth on one leg, and everybody, like the whole place, is just paying attention to this one guy right now.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
see why.
I've been on one leg since I was 8 years old, and blah, blah, blah. He's screaming at her, and he's hopping around like in a circle and all over the place. She finally lets him go through, and that madness stopped. Then we get on the plane, and I'm high, and now I'm tripping out on that. I'm like, see, I told you, weird shit always happens when I'm too high and I go out. And then we're on the plane, and I'm finally calmed down. Alex and I are like laughing about something, and then this woman comes up and she's like, "Hey, you're in my seat." And I was like, "No, this is my seat. Here's why I said, I'm saying that I said here's my ticket," but I was like, "Hey, Alex, talk to her," because I don't want to talk to anybody because I'm high.
Right.
And she's like, she shows her my ticket. We have the same ticket, like we had the same seat.
Oh, you guys had the same.
It's double booked.
Oh no.
So now all this is going on, and then the flight attendants come, and they're like, "Sir, can you come with us to the back of the plane and stand in the back of the plane with us for a while we figure this out?"
No, have her stand in the back.
I know. I was like, I'm already sitting down. So
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the last time I was high at the airport. But next time I have you back in, I want to do that. I want to do the Dope Show with
down.
you, but do a podcast Dope Show.
All right.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for coming in, dude. I
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks
it.
for having me.
All right.